I've analyzed 847 rental properties over the past decade. Some were gold mines, others total disasters. But here's the truth. It only takes 10 minutes to separate the winners from the money pits, if you know what to look for. This is my exact system, the same one I use today before I ever schedule a showing or call a broker back. We're going to walk through a real deal, run the numbers, and show you exactly when to buy and when to walk. Let's start with the basics. Step 1, we plug in the purchase price. Let's say it's a duplex listed for $325,000. Next, we estimate rehab costs. If the property needs a new roof, updated flooring, and a paint job, that could run you $25,000. So your all-in cost is now $350,000. Now the key question, what will it rent for? You can't guess. You need rent comps from Zillow, Rentometer, Craigslist, or actual leases from the seller. In this example, each unit can realistically rent for $1,600 a month, so $3,200 in gross monthly rent. Time to estimate monthly operating expenses. Start with your mortgage. Assume 20% down and a 7% interest rate. That's a mortgage of about $1,860. Add $250 for property taxes, $150 for insurance, and $320 for repairs, maintenance, capex, and vacancy. Altogether, your expenses come out to around $2,580. Take that $3,200 in rent and subtract $2,580 in expenses, and you're left with $620 in monthly cash flow. Multiply that by 12. That's $7,440 annually. Now let's look at your return. You invested $70,000 up front, $65,000 for the down payment, and $5,000 for closing costs. Divide your annual cash flow by your total investment. That's a cash-on-cash return of 10.6%. Anything over 8%? That's a green light in most markets. But here's where I take it further. I plug all of this into my rental property calculator. It shows me return on equity, debt coverage ratio, break-even rent, and projected 5-year ROI with appreciation and loan paydown. I use it to stress test the deal. What happens if rent drops $200 per unit? What if repairs are higher than expected? Can the property still cash flow? This is how you avoid rookie mistakes, like buying a negative cash flow property just because it's in a hot zip code. Numbers don't lie, emotions do. Here's a real example I analyzed last month. A fourplex listed at $600,000. Rents were $1,400 per unit, so $5,600 total. Brokers said it was a 6% cap. But once I plugged in taxes, insurance, repairs, and real expenses, actual cap rate, 4.1%. With a 7% loan, that's negative cash flow. I passed. A week later, it was under contract with another buyer. A month later, back on the market, they realized it didn't pencil. Lesson? Don't guess. Don't trust pro formas. Run your own analysis. Now let's talk about how to find deals worth analyzing. You use tools like Redfin, Zillow, PropStream, and LoopNet, but also go off market, mailers, wholesalers, property managers, or your local REI meetups. The best deals aren't always listed online. Once you find a deal, run it through this system fast. You don't need 3 days and a whiteboard. This takes 10 minutes if you're focused. The faster you analyze, the more offers you can make, and the more likely you'll find a winner. And don't worry, you can download my full rental property analysis calculator in the link below. It's what I use every day, plug and play. No fancy Excel skills required. Let me give you one final tip. Always double-check these 4 things before you offer. First, rent comps. Make sure the projected rents are accurate for your area in unit condition. Second, rehab scope. Don't underestimate repairs. If in doubt, get a contractor's quote. Third, property taxes. Look up the assessor's site. Don't trust the listing agent. Fourth, your exit plan. What's the long-term strategy? Cash flow, appreciation, refinance? Don't just buy a rental, buy a future. If you analyze a deal using this method and the numbers still work after your stress tests, make the offer. Because the truth is, most people sit on the sidelines for years, analyzing deals forever and never pulling the trigger. But you've got the system now. 10 minutes, real numbers, clear decisions. If this helped, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I drop new breakdowns every week. Deal analysis, house hacking, financing tips, and financial freedom strategies that actually work. Comment below with your city and budget. I'll show you how to reverse engineer a real deal using this system. And don't forget to grab that free rental property calculator in the description. Let's get to work.